They didn't just talk. They rewrote you. One message, then 10, then 100 screens, lighting up, like a firing squad. Did you hear? No way, I swear. They're done. Funny thing about gossip, it doesn't walk, it runs. And when it trips, it drags names through broken glass. They said you vanished, not left, not hid, vanished. Then it escalated, died, respawned, like your life was a cheap game, and they were bored players, smashing reset. See, rumors don't want truth. They want theater. They want a body. So when there wasn't one, they invented it. And here's the punchline. You didn't interrupt the lie. You let it breathe. Because nothing terrifies people more than a story they can't finish. They laughed early. They celebrated loud. They buried you fast. Big mistake. Because legends don't scream. When they're killed, they listen, they learn, they reload. And somewhere between their certainty and your silence, power changed hands. It never starts loud. That's the trick. It starts under breath, side eyes, screens tilted away. They don't call it gossip, they call it catching up. Group chats form like basements, no windows, no records, just invites. Secret clubs for people who fear being seen alone. Someone drops your name, casual, random thought, emoji attached, laughter as camouflage. That's the first test, not to learn about you, to see who bites, who reacts too fast, who adds fuel, who screenshots and forwards like it's currency. Every joke is a probe, every meme a measurement. They watch tone, timing, silence, because silence makes people nervous. You didn't answer, didn't explain, didn't perform, so they leaned in closer. See, gossip isn't chaos, it's structure. Ranks, leaders, observers, runners. And you weren't a topic, you were the experiment. How long before a lie feels real? How many mouths before responsibility disappears? They called it talking. It was surveillance. They weren't curious. They were scared, because when people whisper, instead of asking, it's not information they want, it's permission. And the moment they got it, the network went live. They didn't ask questions. They scheduled a conclusion. No evidence, no confirmation, just confidence. That's how verdicts are born. One voice said it first, soft, careful, then another repeated it, louder. By the third time, it wasn't a rumor, it was news. Social proof is a drug. The more people nod, the truer the lie feels. Screens filled with certainty, reactions stacked, messages pinned. Look, everyone agrees, so it must be real. They didn't say, you were gone. They said, you were finished. Finished means permission. Finished means no consequences. So they held a funeral without a body, no tears, just attendance. This wasn't grief, it was graduation. A ceremony for cowards who finally felt safe. Clapping in unison, slow claps, mocking smiles, inside jokes. You weren't invited to. They congratulated each other for surviving you, for outlasting you, for being brave enough to speak freely now that you were done. See, absence is their favorite costume. If you're not there to respond, they get to decide what you were: weak, washed, exposed. They rewrote your ending while patting themselves on the back. Applause echoed through empty rooms. But here's the joke. Funerals like this aren't about the dead. They're about the living, needing closure. They didn't earn, so they clapped and clapped, unaware. They were applauding a story that hadn't reached its middle yet. You never announced a retreat. You removed the noise. No statements, no defenses, no dramatic exit, just quiet. And that's when the room changed, because silence doesn't calm people, it corners them. They waited for a response, refreshed feeds, checked timestamps, replayed old words, looking for contradictions, nothing. So they filled the gap. That's the revelation. Silence isn't absence, it's pressure. Every unanswered moment became a mirror. Angels stayed polite, measured, unbothered. Monsters got impatient. They talked louder, reached further, invented motives. Silence doesn't create monsters, it introduces them, without you there to react. They had no one to perform for. So the masks slipped, jokes sharpened, comments grew cruel, private chats turned feral, all while you said nothing. They mistook restraint for weakness, a classic error, because when you don't interrupt a lie, people reveal how far they're willing to go without resistance. You weren't missing. You were studying patterns. Who escalates? Who hesitates? Who watches? Who enjoys it too much? That's strategy. Silence is psychological warfare because it denies closure. No fight, no denial, no explanation. Just an empty space they couldn't control, and in that space, they exposed their teeth. You didn't hide. You let them show. Who panics, who lies, who needs you present to behave. By the time they noticed, the balance shifting. You already knew exactly who you were dealing with. That's when confusion set in, because you didn't return the way they expected. No announcement, no apology tour, no explanation. Yet somehow, you were still standing. Presence without noise breaks fragile logic. They needed a reason, a label, something small enough to control. So they joked. Guess they're back. Didn't we bury them? Must have respawned. Laughter followed, nervous, uncertain. Calling it a joke was safer than asking questions. But jokes repeat, and repetition turns fiction into framework. Soon you weren't gone. You weren't alive either. You were both dead but active, finished but effective. A paradox they couldn't resolve. Every time your name surfaced, the room shifted. Not excitement, not comfort, calculation. Respawn stopped sounding funny when they realized you remembered everything. When silence turned into precision, when nothing about you felt random anymore. They started watching patterns, your timing, your restraint. Why now? Why this way? That's when disbelief cracked, because respawn implies something worse than survival. It implies learning the map. They laughed again, shorter this time, forced. A laugh to test the room, to see if anyone else was uneasy. Everyone was. The myth outgrew the joke. Respawn became code for something unkillable, something that didn't need permission to re-enter the game. And the more they tried to shrink you with humor, the more the humor curdled into fear, because dead things don't adapt. You did. And suddenly, the joke was no longer about you coming back. It was about whether they were ready for what came with you. Something inverted, quietly, cleanly. They used to talk while you were absent. Now they watch while you're silent. Every post gets reread, screenshotted, forwarded with questions. What does this mean? Is this aimed? You never answer, and that's what breaks them, because attention is control, and you're holding it without touching it. Hidden tests intensify. Someone checks in. Someone jokes again. Someone pretends nothing happened. They're baiting reactions, measuring delays, mapping responses. But the maze is different now. They think they're hunting, but they're pacing corridors. You redesigned in the dark. See, power doesn't announce itself. It relocates. The hunted learn the exits, the blind spots, the dead ends. So while they circle, you move once, precisely. That's when the watching turns obsessive. Notifications on, names muted, profiles refreshed, like rituals. Funny thing, ghosts don't chase. Ghosts get followed. Every move you don't make forces them to imagine 10, They overanalyze tone, timing, context that isn't there. And the more they watch, the smaller they feel, because surveillance works both ways. You know who checks first, who checks last, who pretends not to care but never misses anything. The maze hums, walls shift, and without realizing it, they've stopped talking about you and started orienting around you. That's the shift, not dominance, dependency. Funny how ghosts get followers, and even funnier, they don't know when they stopped leading and started reacting. You didn't kick the door. You adjusted the room. No speeches, no call-outs, no grand reveal, just presence placed with intent. That's how unburials work, not dirt flying, pressure shifting, receipts surfaced without commentary, dates, patterns, contradictions. You didn't explain them. You didn't need to. Truth lands heavier when it airy. Vez alone. The chaos they expected never came. No meltdown, no revenge spiral. Just calm, controlled, almost surgical. And that calm, that's what froze them. Because chaos is familiar, calm is strategic. Every scar became a blueprint. Where they tested you, you reinforced. Where they mocked, you measured. What they thought was damage turned into architecture. They started replaying the joke. Who laughed first? Who pushed it? Who benefited? Suddenly the humor felt miscast, like applauding too early. In a play that wasn't finished, they noticed details they ignored before. Your timing, your restraint, your refusal to perform. That's when it clicked. You didn't come back to be seen. You came back to be undeniable. No arguments, no defenses, just alignment. And alignment terrifies people who survive on noise. The unburial wasn't loud, it was final. Because once something is undeniable, there's nothing left to joke about. Only distance, only silence, only the realization that the story they buried you with no longer belongs to them. Nothing gets announced. That's the rule. No victory lap, no explanations, no closure gift wrapped for comfort. You don't need it, because aftermath isn't noise, it's order. The hierarchy adjusts on its own. People speak slower, messages get drafted, then deleted. Names are mentioned with caution. They whisper again. But now, they look around first. Now there's weight behind every word, because they remember how fast a joke turned into evidence, how silence outlasted certainty. No one asks what really happened. They already know the cost of guessing, so they adapt. They keep distance, they keep records, they keep you out of their mouths, not respect, awareness. You don't correct the past. You don't rewrite the story. You let it sit, like a warning. No one wants to test again. That's the new rule set. You move without announcing. You act without signaling. And they learn, late but permanently, that some people aren't removed. They're repositioned. They said you died. Now they check twice. And in that pause, that hesitation, that recalculation, that's where your power lives.